The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Good morning. Live from the Riv, it's Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And we're here. And before we get into all this, and we got a lot of good stuff to talk about today, I want to say, you're probably aware of this, CJ, but I wasn't aware until I got a call from a friend of mine who's also one of our loyal viewers.
All of our viewers are friends of ours.
Yeah. But unlike me, when I pay my taxes and my bills, water bills and stuff, I never mail them in or pay them online. I like to go down, stand in line, and create all kinds of dissension among the troops in the line.
And you give a tour of the 6th floor.
Give them a tour of the 6th floor and show them the nice marble or full marble floors up there. And, you know, in the old days with Flanagan, I used to get to take them into the bathroom and show them the $500 towels and everything. But, you know, and the other thing is, I don't give this city unless I absolutely have to. Like if I'm going away and I won't be here on the day it's due, I don't give it to them until the day it's due, because I won't give these thieves my money, you know, a minute earlier. And I enjoy it. I enjoy going down there and watching them all, scurry about and. But a friend of mine pays his bill online, and I guess I wasn't aware of it. You know, there's a 17. Well, I guess it depends on how much your taxes are, but there's a exorbitant charge for doing it on a credit card or a debit card.
3.5%.
I don't know why anyone would do that. So I'm just going to give you my personal opinion. If you do that, people, unless you're one of the rich and nauseous and you don't care, why? Why take more money out of your pocket? They kill you with these relentless fees and taxes. If you don't feel like standing in line, go down a day before and drop it in a drop box at the top of the steps at the government center. Mail it in for the price of a stamp. I mean, you're going to add another who knows what. In this case, his was $17, almost $18 more.
Yeah, that's done because the city doesn't want to lose a dime in taxes. And taking a credit card, they've got to pay a conversion fee, which is 3.5% of the transaction fee. And the reason why the transaction conversion fee is so high is the city doesn't take the actual credit card. They just take the numbers online. So there's a risk fee to that.
Yeah, because it's normally like 2% for a credit card.
Plus there's a transaction fee. Yeah. And I think the transaction fee is $1.25 or something like that. So all of that gets added together, and it comes out to be $16 to $18 to $20 a pop. Yep. Whoever wants to do that, hey, you know what? Give me the check. I'll go down to City Hall. Give me a $20 bill.
I'll do it for $15.
Yeah, there you go.
Give me $15. I'll take it down there and I'll pay it.
Exactly.
That's it. Not a problem. But you're right. But again, see, this is great because it's going to segue into the next thing we're going to talk about, I think. Again, the city doesn't do anything the easy way.
Of course not.
We got all these people and assistants to the assistants and department heads and assistant department heads, and everybody's working in these offices, yet they can't run a credit or a debit card like everybody else in the world. They've got to give it 5 extra steps so you can pay more. And they don't care. Again, why? Because it's not their money. It's your money. So what? You pay another 1.5% than everybody else. You use your credit card in a store, there's going to be a fee. There's a credit card fee. So they don't make as much. They don't like, they want money, but they don't, I know people who they always prefer credit because they don't have to pay a credit card company. But we always pay more in Fall River. Why? Because nobody does anything except collect their paycheck and laugh all the way to the bank. And again, a classic example of the incompetence and total disregard for your pocketbook and your wallet in this city. And now how they can screw up even the best of things. My next story. We made #1 in a positive category, but not for long. We're going to screw that up like we screw everything else up. Urban Land Open Space Award finalist. The Quequechan River Trail is a finalist as one of the best internationally, not just in the New England area or in the United States, internationally. But guess what we're going to do with that rail trail? It's not, after they find out we plowed it and put a road through the middle of it, we're not going to be a finalist in anything. It's going to be another disaster, again, by the mayor who I remember saying during an election, you said you didn't want that, it won't happen.
You don't want a road? You won't have a road.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. So, yeah, nice picture, too. So, if you guys take a look at Urban Land.
Yep, it's Urban Land.
And they've got a nice little picture there of, you know.
Urbanland.uli.org.
Of course, it's one of the nicest areas of that trail, and, you know, but it's not a bad trail, and, you know, you could. But now once we, as that song once said, you know, they took Paradise and they made it a parking lot.
Gave Paradise and put up a parking lot.
And in this case, they didn't make a parking lot, they made a road. So, yeah, they took Paradise and made it a road, you know, to a private entity so he could make more money.
Because he paid off the politicians.
Yes.
He paid off Michael Rogers.
And
he
remember,
paid off Jazel Correa.
That's right. And remember.
And Joe Camara.
And remember, this was dead. It was dead in the water.
That's right.
Boston put the kibosh on this. They said no.
And your Fall River City Council said, yay, let's do it.
And who strong-armed Boston?
Michael Rodrigues.
Your senator, Michael Rodrigues.
Who's running unopposed.
The man who is a Dino. He calls himself a Democrat, but he's a Dino. And in case you people don't know what that acronym stands for, it means Democrat in name only.
He's a socialist.
No, he is a carpetbagger.
That's for sure.
And he likes to buy his liquor in New Hampshire.
That's right.
So, yeah. And remember, I still have the article in one of my briefcases that he was in the top 3 in the state of taking every perk he could possibly get from the state. And that was in the Boston Globe, I believe.
That's right.
And there's nobody that grabs money and perks more than our senator. And he grabs plenty of money from these people who are greasing his palm to go in and intercede. They made a ruling, and all those political appointee losers that are in all these things up in Boston, you know, a senator walks in, starts waving it around. They go, oh, God, if I don't give him what he wants, I won't get a pay raise. Oh, my cousin might not get a job next year. Oh, and that's it. Case closed. The hell with it. Oh, it's in Fall River? Who cares? The rail trail's in Fall River. They don't have any real people down there. Let them just get rid of the entire road trail. The rail trail, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And our legislative delegation up there is just sitting there with tape over their mouth because it's a normal person's money. It's a normal person's ability to have something decent. Fall River finally got something decent, and we're going to screw it up again. Welcome to the Riv.
Sounds good to me.
And as we continue on our course of how we can make as much money as we can at the expense of the people and give as many jobs out, another one. Fall River School Department to fund 12 new positions with hurricane relief funds.
That's one-time money, people.
One time.
One-time money.
And what are these positions?
12 positions.
And what type of positions are they?
Majority of them are administrative.
just what we need. We're going to take care of what? How many? 152?
The newly created positions include 5 paraprofessionals, which we need.
Yeah, we do.
Okay?
Absolutely.
A special education teacher, a psychologist, bilingual administrators, and an orchestra teacher.
Oh, beautiful. For 152 people, we need 12 positions. And granted, we definitely need paraprofessionals. I don't know why we didn't, and why we need a bilingual anything with all the bilingual education we've got in this city. You mean nobody in the regular bilingual department can deal with another 152 students. If they were born in Fall River and they came out of the middle schools, would we need this? No. You know what this is? 12 people are going to get a job. It's one-time money, and I'll bet you in the next fiscal year they're going to be whining about, we got to keep these positions. You, the taxpayer, will have to fund these positions.
And let me quote the superintendent, Mr. Malone.
You mean the guy who said, if you don't like this bond issue, go to Russia?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Though the federal money is a one-time payment, Malone said he intends to keep as many of those positions as possible in the school department next fiscal year, which he admitted will present some fiscal challenges. So they know they can't cover these jobs next year. So
Baloney!
What are we going to have? Pink slips.
Baloney, the threat of everything, and they're going to keep it. Because you know who's going to pay? You. Everybody out there listening to this show, in the following fiscal year's budget, the school department will be whining again. Like I said, 152 kids. And we need 12 positions. So you'll take that ratio.
And they're not direct.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Well, there's never direct services.
Right.
What have we lost over the past 10 years? We've continued, or the past 20 years. We've created deans of students, chief operating officers, chief this, chief that. All chiefs, no Indians. They got rid of a ton of paraprofessionals. They outsourced some of the other ancillary programs, which broke the lines of communication. When they were actual people who were in the school department, they had some coordination between some of these outreach programs in the school department and the programming in the regular schools. Now they outsource it to a private company. They've lost that. And I've talked to a lot of teachers who are never happy with that. And, you know, again, another classic example of how there's total disregard. Malone doesn't care. Where does Malone live? I forgot already. We looked it up. You know, he commutes. He's another carpetbagger who lost 2 jobs or 3 jobs in other as superintendents, other places. And then he made some really inflammatory statements. You know, he showed that, made totally unprofessional statements. But look, he's going to keep them. Of course he's going to keep them.
But I have a problem with this. If this is the money that they were talking about before it was issued,
yeah.
If you remember correctly, the mayor and the superintendent made an agreement to split the money in half.
Yep.
Half goes to the city, half goes to the school department. But it says the $452,957 will use to support 152 children from Puerto Rico who have been enrolled in the city's public schools. School districts have the discretion to spend the federal relief funds as they see fit, which means if half of it is going to the city, and this is only half that we're talking about, because I remember them talking about $1 million, there's a problem. I have a problem with that money going to the city at all.
Well, yeah, so do I. But, you know, I've got problems, period, because, as I said, you know...
And yet another carpetbagger, okay, who presided over the special school committee meeting that happened. I'm confident these positions will be used well, school committee vice chairman Mark Costa said during a special meeting of the school committee on Tuesday at Spencer Borden Elementary School.
Yeah. Well, you know, the problem I have is, again, do you really believe that these jobs are going to be going to anybody but somebody that's politically connected? Let's look at the list. Let's see who gets these jobs. And by the way, I'm predicting, I'm putting on my Karnak the Magnificent. Remember Johnny Carson? In the next fiscal year, when we're funding it, I'll bet you they get a pay raise.
Well, and here's the other thing.
And if they get a pay raise, guess what? The feds are going to pay them this next year. The tab for these services, which we really don't need.
Well, here's Karnak the Magnificent again.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Rebecca Cusick said, this is a wonderful thing for the school system. It's one-time money, so it's wonderful this year. How much you want to put money that next year she's complaining, oh, pink slips had to go out. Oh, we're losing these positions. But, hey, you supported it, Rebecca. Guess what? If you lose it, it's your fault, too.
They see this again as a way, and then they're going to cry again next year, and they're going to, but they don't complain about the administrator to teacher ratio.
No.
They complain about being understaffed. They don't complain about being overstaffed in administration. They never ever, you know, they got a club over there. You don't ever see them turning around and saying, well, we got too many chiefs and not enough Indians here, and complaining about all these programs. They'll complain, but they won't complain because they're all afraid of the superintendent, and they're going to take care of their own. And she's going to try to keep these positions in there because she knows, look, next year there'll be, look, what do we see in the city council meetings all the time? Everybody puts their hands up and they throw their hands up and they bemoan everything. Everything's a big deal. Oh, we can't. Oh, no, we can't have this. No, we shouldn't do this. And they do it. It's a big dog and pony show. Nobody gives it. It's, you know, at the end of the day, the taxpayer takes it on the chin again. Nobody ever remembers that Fall River has nearly a quarter of its population in the poverty level, living in poverty. That we have one of the highest unemployment rates, most of the time the highest unemployment rate in the state. We have people with no job qualifications, no educations, and now that thing is running endlessly on the Providence news stations about Governor Raimondo, you know, some young kid graduated from high school, trained to be a pipe fitter, started in high school, basically apprenticeship kind of, you know, these things we talk about all the time. Germany's been doing for 60 years, 50, 60 years, and had phenomenal success. But do we do that in Fall River? No. We've got a whole bunch of unemployable people because they have no skills, and when they do get a job, they get the lowest paying job, and they're the last hired and first fired because they're basically disposable.
Well, now that you're speaking about that, I'm going to transition a little bit here.
Oh, good.
Recently, Diamond announced that their public-private partnership with Primacare is putting together a new program for medical assistants, an already swamped, overwhelmed market, by the way.
Yeah.
Underpaid people, and all they are glorified secretaries.
Yeah.
This is a source of free internships for Primacare, because you know what's going to happen is all these people are going to do their internships at Primacare, which is free help. And then when they get out of this program, they're not going to have a job.
Yeah, they're going to keep maybe one or two out of all of them at the best, and then they're going to kick the rest of them to the curb.
Exactly.
Actually, I know somebody. That it was the person's daughter who took one of those courses.
Right, and this is the problem. We have enough of those programs being offered in Fall River right now from the private sector. Nursing assistant, which is, again, one of the lowest paying jobs in healthcare. Yeah. Medical assisting, another lowest paying job in healthcare. They're being done in the private sector. People are paying $4,000, $5,000, and $6,000 to get these trainings. Why, I don't know. For no guarantee of a job. And they're not getting jobs. Yeah. Because this is the way America works. You know what? I could go out tomorrow, open up a nurse training course, a nurse assistant training program, charge $6,000 a head, and there is no accountability of me finding jobs for these people. But they'll pay me, and the worst part is the state will pay me. The state will waste your money. Because they don't care. They know, because who you know, basically, when you look at most of these places, we've had these training consortiums in Fall River for years. And what have they accomplished? Nothing, because they don't do it the right way. And as we talked about in the previous program, do we ever learn anything from another? I know that Jazel's over there and all his fanatics are saying, he's over there to learn how to clean up the streets. Well,
In reality, he should have went to Holland, because Holland's got about the cleanest streets on the planet. You know, so, you know.
Actually, that's not true. Disney has the cleanest
yeah,
streets
well,
on the planet.
Another minimum wage, non-union.
Another minimum wage job, but they got people 24 hours going around sweeping up the street. There's no dirt. You can't find a gum wrapper on the streets of.
I can tell you a couple of resorts in Mexico that are immaculate too. But they've got these people cleaning up that are making $1 a week.
Exactly.
So, but I'm talking about where regular people, like if you go to Holland, they scrub their steps with toothbrushes and stuff, and they're out there washing their sidewalks. Holland's always been notorious to be extremely clean. But you don't have to go to Europe. Everybody, is it going to be done in Fall River? Absolutely not. That's like now, how much money are we wasting? Every time I come up Ellsbury Street now, I see new lines. First they had a little narrow, and I figured what it was, and now they got bicycle people, little painted bicyclists.
Paths.
Now it's a bicycle path. That's because of the delusionary Jazel went to Paris, and he saw 1 million bicycles. Well, gasoline's like $10 or $15 a gallon over there. About 80% of the population uses public transportation or bicycles or motor scooters. Why? Because it's a necessity.
That's right.
That'll never happen. I haven't seen one person in that bicycle path yet. As a matter of fact, before the path, I see about one every 17, 18 days, I might see somebody riding a bicycle. I mean, he thinks that because he made a bicycle, how much money did we waste with bicycle, these harebrained ideas? But he did get a free trip to Paris.
That's right.
So, but I mean, let's,
just so people
again,
know.
Totally delusionary. Why don't we ever succeed in Fall River? Because we're trying to make this Paris and Newton rather than being the blue-collar city it should be by doing things the right way. So, again, and that brings us to the next one. New England Shirt Company closes, faces Fro-Ed lawsuit. Well, what did we say when we started with this stuff? They were talking about, didn't they give a program in sewing machine repair somewhere?
Yes, Merrill.
All right, yeah, sewing machine repair, and what did we say then? We said that these things don't last in this country. They'll make some money, and then when they start losing money, they're gone. They're going to go out to where they can pay people $1, maybe 12 cents an hour. If that, in some countries, they can almost get basically slave labor. Go to India, they've had virtual slave labor over to India. They found some of these things. Didn't, what's her name from the Today Show get in trouble for owning a clothing?
Kathy Lee.
Kathy Lee Gifford, that's right. Kathy Lee Gifford for having some place where they basically use slave labor. You know, the absolute, insanity of these people to try to make, what is wrong with you people? You have any idea of the world you live? They sell this crap to you. Everybody made a big deal out of this opening. Now let's make a big deal out of it closed. And not that it just closed. Why did it close?
And they're being sued by Fro-Ed.
Did you have to be a fortune teller to know this textile business that depends on low-wage workers is not going to last in the United States? Guess what? There are 10 million jobs in the United States that are unfilled because you need some education. They got the commercial on TV, the person at the drill press machine, and everybody around it begins to disappear and be replaced by a robot. Then finally the boss comes over and taps her on the shoulder, and it's her turn to go. And it's a commercial for about continuing education.
Right.
So, but only places like Fall River make a big deal. We're gonna reinstitute the textile industry. Baloney.
Well,
again, Fall River does it again.
And the worst part about
what do we do? What do we do for that? We take care of it by naming a new director of minimum housing.
Yeah, but the thing is that this company, which is, what is it?
New England Shirt.
New England Shirt. Wholesale, their shirts sell for $80.
Yeah.
Who do they think's going to buy these? That has a very limited market.
Yeah.
Okay, and they've been closed since February of this year or last year. Come on. And then they had water damage, and they're being sued by the old Fro-Ed.
Yeah, and it said somewhere in the article they sold shirts to the Olympics.
Right, they did.
And so they made some pretty good money on that
Exactly.
deal. But now when they had a little bit of water damage, apparently they didn't have insurance, so now that's going to put them out of business.
Right.
That's baloney. It's just a way to get out of here and go to somewhere where their operating costs are going to be less. What a surprise. Like, you know, the only people that didn't know this was the mayor of Fall River, the city council, and our economic development.
The Office of Economic Disaster?
Yeah.
Which is now in the hands of the RDA?
But let's get, before let's get to our boy Faust.
Oh, Faust, the waiter.
Yeah, and he got another, the waiter, the guy in the band, now he's going to be he said, oh, but he's going to, he says, I'm bringing, he said, one tool Fiore said he's been working on is keeping data on vacant houses. Wow. I can get a 3-year-old today that can run a computer that can get that data in about 10 seconds. I mean, you know, how many times, every time there's a fire or every time there's an issue with a vacant house, we do a citywide investigation on all the vacant houses. We catalog them. I mean, that'd take about 5 minutes. The data is readily available. This is what you're bringing. I've been working on a quote. I've been working on a list of known vacant houses, but haven't gotten to the newly vacant houses. This is one of my main priorities. You know, you're supposed to be the director. I hate to tell you this, Faust, but already you show you have no managerial ability. Because one of the things you learn in effective supervisory practices is you're supposed to delegate certain jobs. You're not supposed to be wandering around collecting this kind of data. You're supposed to be administering this department. But then again, what did he start out with his first job? 35 or 40,000?
Yeah, something. No, 50.
50? Then he went to what when he got the new job?
I think it was at 60 at CDA.
And now he hit 80. So he continues to ascend the ladder of the PAYT principle.
And he's so happy that he's one of the police chief's designees.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? Yeah, isn't that wonderful? What a surprise. But he continues to ascend the pay scale and the ladder of the PAYT principle, where people get jobs that they're totally unqualified for, and it doesn't seem that anybody pays attention and even cares. And by the way, again, I will remind everybody, he still doesn't live in Fall River.
That's
in
right.
spite of the ordinance. And last but by no means least, I got to get this one in because we only got a few minutes. Can Mayor Carrera eliminate pay-as-you-throw on his own? Yes, but it's not that simple. City Councilor Brad Kilby asked City Corporation Council in writing if Mayor can unilaterally get rid of the pay-as-you-throw program by executive order. The answer he received was yes and no. Well, you know something, Joe? I'm glad you're still earning your money.
With that $20,000 more a year raise.
Yep, you're making your pension plus you're making 100 G's, and a city council asks you a question and you go yes and no. You know, you know, you got to be careful about sitting on that fence because you know where that picket's going to end up if you sit on there too long. Because, you know, again, this city just, the only thing they know how to do is screw things up and make you pay more. Whether it's the rail trail, like I said, we got something that we can say, hey, look, Fall River's got a nice rail trail. But I'm not going to be delusionary like they are and say, oh, the rail trail will bring thousands of people to Fall River just to walk on a rail trail. Like there's no rail trails anywhere. In the Cape, along the coast of Maine. I mean, let's get serious. People, let's get really angry. Come on, November's coming. There's an election. Some people are running opposed. Let's pay attention. Let's start draining the swamp.
Drain the swamp. I say get rid of all of them. All 9. Get rid of the mayor. Get rid of all of them. And start from scratch. It can be no worse than we already have. That's for sure. Hey, everybody, have a great day, and we'll see you on Friday.